Okay, we're going to work with cos ratio. And the cos for our SOHCAHTOA is the ka, right? And it represents cos theta is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay? And we have to make sure we know what those are in terms. And again, cos ratio, just like tan or sine, only work with right angle triangles. Theta represents our angle. So we always mean adjacent or hypotenuse in reference to a specific angle. Okay, well, this is our angle we're going to work with to start, 27. Okay. So let's start this off. This becomes cos 27 is equal to, and we're going to solve for h. Okay, what is our adjacent side here?
200 meters.
That's right. This is the adjacent, 200. And what is our hypotenuse?
H.
That's right. Hypotenuse is always opposite of 90, so it's our side h. Now here we just have to isolate for h. But h is on the bottom. So one thing you can do is just bring h to the other side, it becomes h times this. A lot of times they talk about this being cross-multiplying, whichever makes it easier for you. If you cross-multiply, it's going to be 200 times 1, which doesn't change. And really the only thing that's important is going to be bringing the h over and timesing it here. So I'm just going to focus on that move. Okay, so when I bring h over, it becomes h times cos 27, right? But, I'll write it again, h times, or we usually don't make an x, right? We'll do brackets. H times cos 27 equals 200. Well, that doesn't help us. I need h to be by itself. So now, I got to bring cos 27 to the other side. In order to do that, we got to divide by cos 27. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we get h is equal to 200 divided by cos 27. And cos 27 is a number, and I could have written it as a decimal, but I kept it in this form so I didn't have to write as many numbers out. So our h in this case, we'll take out our calculator, is going to be, in my calculator I can kind of store stuff, so 200 divided by, where's my division? Get rid of that. 27 cos, so that's what it is as a decimal, and my calculator's already saved the 200. So my 200 is divided by this. I just have to add equals now. 224.46. 224.46 meters. And that makes sense, right? Because it should be longer than the 200. So 224.46. Excellent. We can also use cos ratio to find an angle. And again, I'm going to call this angle mu in this case. So same thing. Cos mu is equal to, oh, actually, I can't quite get this yet, but this is fine. Cos mu is equal to adjacent. And which is the adjacent side here?
That side.
The question mark, right? That's our, I don't know. So we should usually use a variable. And then over our hypotenuse is 224.6. Now, I didn't plan this out very well, but I want to find that angle, 4.6. There is a quick way I can find this side, okay? Pythagorean's theorem, right? And because this is the hypotenuse, I would technically subtract by that. So I need to find, and I'm not going to go over Pythagorean's theorem very quickly. I'm just going to tell you what we need to do to solve it. So you're going to grab a calculator and help me here. I need the square root of 224.46 squared minus 200 squared. So minus 200 squared. Hopefully we can do that. Maybe you'll beat me to it.
46 squared. Big negative.
Big negative? Shouldn't be. So let's try this again. I think that should work it. Boom. Yeah. That should be our number. 101.89. If you remember from our other example, that's what that sign was, right?
Yeah.
101.89. We just didn't do it in this example, so we had to prove it. Okay, so this is 101.89. So which means we can now write, in terms of our question mark, 101.89. Great. So now that we have that, we have to isolate for mu. How do I bring cos to the other side? Do you recall?
Divide.
Well, we can't technically divide. What does it become on the other side? That's a better question.
Negative.
Yeah, it becomes cos 2, not technically negative, but to the power of negative 1. And then we work it to 101.89 divided by 224.46. And we work it in our little calculator, and it'll tell us our angle. And really, we could have just subtracted from 180, right? We already knew two of the angles, but we're just kind of proving this stuff. 1.89 divided by 224.46 equals, and then shift cos inverse, that's what that's called, the inverse. 63. Hey, and that's exactly what we got the last time we went through this example, right? 63. And we just used cos.